Hey guys, welcome back to the Joyfully Free Journey. I'm Lacey, your host, and I am really excited about today's conversation. This week, I interviewed one of my besties. Actually, I had the pleasure of being his wife, my husband, Lamar Reaves, and we talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about our journeys, how we met each other, how long we've known each other, a little bit about our relationship timeline, and then we talked a lot about things that we did to maximize our single journey, our journey as singles. We've been married for a few, but friends for longer. And I hope that this is an insightful, encouraging, and hopefully a funny conversation. We definitely just were our authentic selves, and I hope that it encourages you. And without further ado, let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to the Joyfully Free Journey. I'm Lacey Reaves, your host, and today I have a special guest with me, Mr. Can you tell me what your name is, sir?
I'm Larry.
This is a running joke. His name is not Larry. His name is...
I'm Lamar Reaves, and I am your
husband. Whoa, not the ring flash in the camera. Okay, well, I'm very glad that you're happy with that ring. Funny story, just completely out of the blue, we had a couple goes at it with the wedding ring. I married a very specific designer creative, and he was very specific with what he wanted. So the first one didn't actually cut it.
I like the first one. The first one, I like that one.
You like the rose gold one?
I gained some weight, and it got, the rose gold, no. I thought the carbon fiber one was the first.
That's another story. Let's do an intro, and then let's talk about the rings, because that's actually...
I did like the first one.
Ooh.
That was the second one. You picked.
Okay, yeah. Granted.
This
I
is
feel
the
like
third ring, bling bling. I show them all at the same time. Like bling,
I
bling,
think
bling.
you should. Instead of NBA rings, you can show all your versions of your wedding ring. He's mine. He's checking. That's what I wanted. I gave him 3 rings so nobody got confused, not even the people at the gym. But I digress. Let's actually talk a little bit about you and I. Mara and I met in 2012. I think I got that right. He's better with dates than I am. And we've had a couple iterations of our relationship, and we've been married 4 years.
I feel like I should have another ring for each year.
Maybe for each 3 years? Because if we've known each other 12 years.
I can get one every year. You can get one every 5 years. I think we can cut that deal. Well, we're coming up on 5 years.
So I should be getting another ring. No, I think I should get a ring every 5 years. I'll settle there. This is quickly turning into the Lacey and Lamar show. A couple of our friends actually have said that we should record ourselves because our dialogue is like this a lot. But getting back to the point, this season, the topic of the Joyfully Free Journey podcast is Begin Again, pursuing a dream again after setback. And while not entirely in line with that theme, our relationship has had a lot of twists and turns and what people could say setbacks, because there was a period of time when we were not together, but ultimately it worked out. We're here.
Yeah, setbacks and get backs.
That's right. Setbacks and get backs. So we've gotten back and we want to talk about it. And so, like I mentioned, we have been married 4 years. We were friends first, and we had 12 years. We've known each other for a total of 12 years. I do have a question for you, Lamar. Tell the people a little bit about how we met and what you thought of me when you saw this beautiful beauty.
I feel like I should go back before we actually met.
Okay, that's fair.
I actually knew of you, like, I think we had the same circle of friends. So I think I may have seen you in some of my friends' circles, and then you were frequented some Bible study group that I was in at one time. But I noticed, like, you never talked at these Bible studies, so I was intrigued. So I thought you were, I just thought she was some quiet girl, because she was just in the Bible study, just in the corner, and just like never.
I was waiting on the
Lord. I don't
Lord.
remember her talking much during these Bible studies, so I was just kind of like curious from your quietness. So that's where I think I remember you initially from, because we went to the same church for like at least 2 or 3 years, and never like formally met. And so we met actually on July 4th, 2012, at a mutual friend's birthday party.
That's right. Yeah. Shout out to our friend Joseph.
Yeah. So, and so It was at a restaurant, and then when I went to the restaurant, the next seat over was across from hers.
Mhm.
I just sat in the next seat open, and she was across from me, and she was very talkative, which I was confused by. I was like, "Oh, it's a quiet girl," and, like, she was, like, really talking a lot, so I was like, "Okay, maybe she's having a really good day or something. Oh, she's excited." I don't know, but I just assumed she was quiet, but that was not the case.
Well, get me in front of a good plate of food, especially a good plate of barbecue, and I will talk your ear off. So that was what was going on. On my end of this side of the street, my side of the
That's
table,
okay.
yep, had seen Lamar around, but I don't think I noticed him. And I hate to say that because I was
You didn't notice me?
noticed you when I sat down across
Mhm.
from you. When you sat down across from me, I certainly noticed you then. But before then, I didn't really notice you. Like you said, I was in that Bible study. It was a great group of friends, great group of people who went to our church or I had met through, I actually had met them through school, not through church. And they had invited me out to be a part of some of these game nights and worship nights and Bible studies. And it was great. I just was in awe because prior to that, all the people in my life that loved God were much older than me. They were not necessarily my peers. And so being in a also spent my high school years in a Christian school. And so that was very normal to have chapel and different things like that. I did have friends that I did Bible study with, but that was not the norm. That wasn't the norm. And we didn't do that a lot. It was just a little bit. And so there were people who were not affiliated with the church. They weren't at church. No one was organizing this for them. They were organizing their own worship nights, prayer, 24 hours of prayer. And it was a lot. I had not actually ever been exposed to that before. So when I ended up at these Bible studies, I was like this in the corner. That's why I was so, that's why I was so quiet. I was in awe. And then I was slightly intimidated. I was like, I don't want to say anything. I don't know what the right thing to say is. So I'm just going to be quiet and listen. So that is why I was quiet girl in those settings because I was just taking it all in. This was very new for me. So that's why I was
Okay.
quiet. And so when Lamar sat across from me, he's going to be mad that I mentioned this, but he was late because he always gets on me for being late, but he was late to the birthday party. I was late,
Yeah.
but he was later
Yeah,
than
she does
he was later than
You know
me.
what? That's probably the only time that you've actually been somewhere before me.
When
That's
food is
probably the only
involved,
time
I'm there.
that's probably the
Woo!
only time that she's beat me somewhere.
I want to be there. I want to be where
That
the
one
food
time.
is.
Yeah.
So he was late. And then I just proceeded to be my bubbly self, which so bubbly. And I was eating some good chicken. I'm sure I had a rib or two or some wings in my hand. I was very happy that day.
Yeah, it's good food.
So we immediately met and everything was rainbows and hugs and just how all the movies go, like boy meets girl, boy asks girl out, everything goes great, happily ever after, married and seen, right?
No, I think we were just friends for a while, and
Yep.
I think at that time, I was trying to recruit people for a midnight basketball program had started. So, and she mentioned she did photography, and we needed a photographer. So it was kind of, yeah, I thought she was cute, of course. She's like, she was cute and good looking. But at the time, like I was really on my recruiting mode,
It's focus.
and so she had mentioned she did photography. So that was kind of my end to get her to come and volunteer. Like, oh, so let me tell you about
Yes.
this we're doing. We could use photographers, and I think she agreed at some point and came.
Yep, you got my email. That was back. Ooh, I did not give my cell phone number out. I was not about that life. I said, you can email me.
I don't think I asked for your cell phone number.
I
But
know.
yeah,
I say that like I was giving him a run
yeah,
for his
ask
money. He didn't even ask for my cell phone. I was like, dang, I'm so cute today. And he didn't even ask for my number. But he did email me and then I signed up and I started serving. I started taking the best Sports Illustrated level basketball photos. It was awesome. I was in
Yeah.
my basketball photographer era.
She was really good. She was so good, in fact, that people came to Night Flight, which is a basketball program. They came just to have their pictures taken. Families would come in and have their families' pictures taken. I'm like, hold on, now you got to slow down with these pictures. Okay, it's a basketball program for the kids.
Should have started
Y'all got to go
charging.
home, you know what I'm saying? Let's check on, play some games, shoot around. But yeah, she was really, really good with our photography.
Thank you for that compliment. I will also say that the other volunteers the majority of the volunteers were men. And so, if you're a guy, wouldn't you rather have a girl take your photo than another guy? So they were really feeling themselves when I would come around and take their photo. I was definitely giving their ego a huge boost. These guys, they were as young as like middle school and as old as like recent high school graduates. Some of them, I mean, even the adults like getting their pictures taken. They're like, send that to me on Facebook.
Yeah,
and I was like,
pictures tonight, post these tonight.
You posting them? And I was like, yes, we will post them tonight. So it was really intense. It was good. It was a midnight basketball program, like he said. So we were there from like 6, 7 to like 1. So late. And you still got those photos up when you got home. Like you were intense.
Photos. Yeah,
and you lived kind of far away too.
Okay. Which was 30 minutes away.
And he drove at least, I mean, I guess you didn't have 30 minutes worth of traffic.
Well, sometimes I had to take kids home.
And then you would eat.
And then sometimes we eat.
We go and eat.
At the Waffle House as a team.
Right.
And so I might get home like 3.
Exactly.
Like 3.
And then he would post. And by the time the kids woke up at like 7, 8, 9, they were up.
They wouldn't up. They're probably up at 10, 11.
Well, but the post was up when they woke up. That was the point.
Okay.
So I think that was a really good time. We had a lot of good, and the great thing about that season, of course, I don't want to say season like in a cliche way, but the night flight, our night flight era, if we can say that, like the night flight era was a good time. It was lots of people who were trying to do good in the community. Some of them went to our church. Some of them didn't go to our church. And they were just all about the kids, They were really committed.
We had a lot of good young adults.
Yeah, young adults and married at that time. And it was really encouraging to see people choosing to use their time in a positive way rather than those kids could have been anywhere. And some of their parents didn't even drop them off. Like they found rides to get to the program. And that was really good. It was good times.
Some parents did drop their kids off and did not come back.
And did not pick them back up. That is true. We did a couple of runs. I didn't do a lot of that. He did more of that than me. But see, that shows me his heart. And that's another thing that while we were friends, I was able to see his character. And that was honestly, I feel like that is one of the best ways to get to know a person if you are interested in them. I became interested in Lamar. It wasn't like an immediate thing because
it wasn't. You weren't attracted at all this
at
first sight? Don't front for the camera.
No, he was good.
I was in my 20s back then.
He was nice.
So I was
looking nice.
You gotta believe it by faith, but back then, boy, I had a pow.
It was pop.
Bling bling.
The arms were
all that.
He was playing basketball every week. He was super in shape. So was I. Goodness gracious. So that was
in shape. You still look good. You look the same.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So we were in our friend era. So moving forward to our I think I like you, let's date era. Can you recall I should have got our book because that actually goes through a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, a lot of it is so long ago.
Yes. So maybe I can refresh your memory. You invited me. Talk about our first date.
You can talk about it. I think I took you out for your birthday, right?
You took me out for my birthday and asked me if I wanted to date or if you. Did you say, do you want to be my girlfriend?
I probably didn't say girlfriend. That's not how I was.
I think that's what I always wanted somebody to say. So I probably just imagined
didn't use that word, but I was like, I might even say like you want to hang out or
if I was your
have a relationship or pursue a relationship or something. I don't know what I said, but it wasn't girlfriend. I wouldn't have used that word.
Okay. I don't know. I think that's the Justin Bieber song. Oh my gosh.
Shout out to Justin Bieber. Yeah.
So our first date, we went to Cheddar's, I think. we went
It wasn't
to
Cheddar's date.
Cheddar's.
Wasn't Cheddar's wasn't hidden. It was Longhorn.
Okay.
Longhorn Steakhouse.
Wait, not for my birthday, but for our first date.
The first date was for your birthday, right?
No, you picked me up in my apartment.
But it was
You didn't
taking you
open the
out.
door.
It was taking you out in celebration of your birthday, right? Or was
No,
it?
I don't think that was our first date. Was a movie. We went to see the Fast and the Furious. Man, we don't remember our first date. That is sad. I thought that, okay, so this is what I thought our first date was.
Okay, yeah, tell her what you
He
thought it was.
invited me out. He used to like ask me all kinds of questions like, do you work out? What's your favorite kind of workout? Like all kinds of questions he would ask me. And I was like, this guy's making sure I work out. Oh man, I need to make sure I work out. This guy is asking me questions about what I like to do to work out. And so he invited me. He invited me to see the Fast and the Furious, which became a shared movie series that we franchised that we enjoyed watching. And I was telling him how into the movies I was, and he was really surprised. I'm like, I can't have a can of knives in my Toyota Matrix. Like, this is very normal for me to think that I drive a race car, even though I was driving a Toyota Matrix at the time. And so we went out. I thought we went to Cheddar's. This is my version. We went to Cheddar's and then we went to the movie theater. And he did come, and I don't know if he came to my door. Maybe this wasn't a date. Maybe we just went out and it was not an official date. Because I don't know if you like met me at the door or I came down. I just remember he did not open my
Yeah,
door.
I know I didn't open the door.
And I was like, oh,
The door, I think you were
the
getting in the
car door.
car.
I was
Yeah.
getting in my car. It was
Yeah.
my first apartment. I came down from the third floor, came to the car, and he got in the car and I was just looking at him.
Did I come and get you into the or did you was I already in the car?
I don't know. I think
remember.
you must have, maybe you got out of the car. I don't know if you came up or I came down, but maybe you got out of the car, but you did not like, maybe you didn't get out of maybe that's what happened. Maybe I didn't let him come to my door because I was probably real scared to go out with the guy, honestly. I came down, he was in the car, I waved, and I stood there.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then
remember that.
he was like, oh, I was like, are you gonna get that? And he was like, yeah. So he came around, got me in the car. We went to eat. We went to see the movie. Perfect Gentleman. After that, Perfect Gentleman.
Gotcha. Okay.
So what was your version of our first date?
I thought we went out for your birthday. Maybe we didn't. Maybe that was later. It might have been later. I
Mhm.
don't remember Cheddar's at all. I don't even think Cheddar's was here.
Hmm.
We had to look up when Cheddar's was in Greenville.
Okay.
I do not remember Cheddar's at all.
Okay. Fair enough.
But yeah, I do. Maybe I'm getting. I don't know. But I thought we went out for your birthday or something.
We did go to Longhorn and then we went to church.
Or was that another date?
No, that was for my birthday.
But the first date? I don't remember. Anyway,
We
don't
had gone
remember.
out before as friends. I think we went out as friends before it was
Long time
considered a
ago.
date.
Okay.
Clearly, we got a couple versions. But all that to say, before meeting me, what were you looking for in a girlfriend or in a woman that you would be interested in? What were you looking for? Because I was not his first girlfriend. He was my first boyfriend, but I was not his first girlfriend.
So at that time, I had a lot going on at that time. So like I wasn't
Like in a good way?
no in a good and like I was busy with work.
Oh, okay. You're like,
Just-
that
just-
sounds like you had
Like
a lot
just
of
started night
issues.
flight. I was serving a lot of hours at church.
Yep.
So I was like serving in multiple ministries.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I wasn't like necessarily pursuing anyone at that time, so to speak. But I think as far as like what I like in a woman, of course, someone that's attractive, someone who's equally yoked as far as like faith wise, believing in God, same values, someone that's nice. I don't like a bad attitude, like can't deal with that. You can have a little bit of spiciness, but disrespect and all that. Nah, I ain't got time for that. And someone that had goals and aspirations and dreams.
Mhm.
So I think I don't have like a big list of stuff that I was necessarily looking for, but I think that would probably be it at that time.
Well, I had a really long list. Okay. I was like, he has to be built. His arms have to be strong. He has to be tall. Those were all preferences. I did not write a list of physical characteristics for the man that I would be interested in. But there were a couple things like you want to have someone who you can have a conversation with. I'm a talker, even though at the time that he met me, he may not have thought that. I can talk.
No, I found out quickly that first day. Yeah,
I was even singing that day. I was like,
acting.
God bless America. And I was like singing the Star Spangled Banner. It was a lot. I'm a whole vibe. And so I wanted someone that I could be comfortable with, talk with, have fun with. And then also I have a silly side, but I have a very serious side, very fo Mm, let's rephrase that. Maybe not focused, but very driven. I'm very driven. I want to do things. He would always ask me these questions like, "What do you want to do with your life?" Because at the time that he met me, I had recently graduated college. So I'm just
Yeah.
doe-eyed, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, like, "Hello world, here I am." I was in my first job and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I, like, was just happy to finish. So I didn't really have a lot of long-term goals. I had short-term goals, of course, but long-term goals, I didn't really have a lot of those. And so he would ask me, "What do you wanna do?" "I just wanna make a difference." And that really was it. Like, it wasn't even like, "I wanna do this. I wanna own this. I wanna help these people." It's like, "I just wanna make a difference. I wanna touch the world." And for a while, I was thinking, "Well, how do I do that? I'm gonna go." I was looking at jobs in the Peace Corps. Like, I didn't know, how do I make a difference? And so that has unfolded, but my desire was just to, like, change the world for good, but I didn't really have a lot of direction at that time. So he was a few years older than me, and he would ask me really deep, profound questions. Lamar is a deep thinker. And so he, like, has ideas for days, and I didn't. And so he would ask me questions about what I wanted to be, what I wanted to do. I mean, he didn't ask me about business back then, but there was just a lot that he had going in his mind, and I was just like, "Do, do, 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 do."
Yeah, I mean,
So we were very
um,
different.
yeah, just to be clear, like, I'm 7 years older, so it was a little bit of a gap there, I think.
Well,
As far as, like, being a professional,
right.
um,
So I'm what,
yeah,
22 and you're like 28.
yeah, something around that, yeah.
I was just turning 22 and he was maybe just turning 28 or maybe even 29.
Yeah, probably
I'm not even
29,
really
yeah. Yeah,
sure.
probably 29, yeah.
So there was just like for maturity level and life, and more so, I think I was pretty mature, but like life experiences, we were in
Mhm.
different places for sure. About to be 30, just graduated college. Like that's definitely
Yeah, it's a big difference
a big
with
difference
where you
back
are,
then
yeah,
for sure.
yeah, for sure.
I did not have, going back to what I was saying, I did not have a full list of characteristics, but there are things that I had been my upbringing was different, and I actually did not date, prior to meeting Lamar, and that in of itself brings a whole different dynamic into my perspective, even my expectations. There was a lot of, like, Disney fantasy sprinkled up in there, plus, like, hyper, purity, Jesus, very conservative upbringing, and I'm so grateful for it. I feel like I didn't have to go through so many things just because of the way in which I was raised. But it also had its challenges when you're meeting other people. You don't necessarily have the same perspective or experiences that they do. And so you can kind of be a little naive in your perspective of what other people might go through in life. And so I had to learn a whole lot of empathy real quick because I was a little judgy. Let's be honest, I was very judgy. And so coming into this relationship with him, even meeting a guy, getting to know a guy, everything was a big deal. Everything was new. There was a lot of pressure on it. And I think that particularly probably contributed to what we like to call Lacey and Lamar version one, which is when we started dating, and we dated for about a year and a half,
Yeah,
and
we
then we
dated
took a break. That was
a
interesting.
couple of months, break, got back together,
Yep.
and then we what, about maybe close to a year, maybe? And
Mhm.
then we broke up,
Mhm.
and then 5 years hiatus,
5 years,
and got back together, got engaged in 4 months.
and then married within
Yeah.
an additional 9 months.
But it's funny though, it's like, at the time we got back together, our church was in a transition, and a lot of people didn't know, like, we had previously a relationship in the past, so they just thought we just got, like, married fast or something.
Yes.
I remember in the past saying something like about getting married fast. Like, well,
It's better to marry than to
yeah,
burn. He didn't say
yeah, he didn't say that, but yeah, I think a lot of people just didn't know we had a past, and then some people are like even trying to hook us up.
that was actually the
Like,
funniest
I'm
thing
like,
ever.
well, kind of
The
been there, and didn't quite work as planned. But
yeah,
third time's a charm.
there it is. So we are currently in the 3rd version of our relationship, and there's still so much to learn about one another, but I think honestly the work that we did in singleness, while it didn't prevent bumps and twists and turns in marriage, I love the fact that we both walked our unique journeys. And in the time that we had apart from one another, I would say we both grew. Would
Oh
you
yeah,
agree
yeah,
with that?
yeah, yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
And it probably like 20 pounds maybe. So I did, yeah.
I say I grew some muscles because I started working out because I wasn't just pining around waiting for someone to call me. And I grew in my maturity, I would say. Um, so I would like to ask you a question. It's not actually written here, so I don't know why I'm looking down. But in how it relates to the theme of this season is begin again, starting again, or pursuing a dream after setback. And I would say that we had a few setbacks on a relationship, but we both
Yeah.
had a desire to be in a relationship, to be married. And marriage is not the end goal. I want to just preface that. Sometimes we romanticize, like, and we were happily ever after, and like it just stops there at the marriage or the wedding day itself. But just even in being a healthy version of myself, I wanted to have healthy relationships. And yes, that did include a romantic relationship, but I also wanted to pursue overall relational health. And so how would you describe who you were after our 5-year break versus who you were before the 5-year break? How did you grow? And what did you do intentionally during that time of being single that helped you?
For me, like I don't think I changed a lot. I think I'm still the same person. Like when people say like, "Oh, I became a different person," like I don't feel like I ever became a different person. I feel
Okay.
like I grow and learn things, but that's not like a phrase that I would say I apply to my personal life and journey and growth
Okay.
overall. Like I think I always had the same values and kind of my personality is being what it is.
Mm.
But I think over that time, I think I learned about understood more about being in a relationship and kind of maybe what I wanted more in a marriage or the next time I may go into a marriage. I think I had a better idea of what I may be looking for at that point. But I think during that time I was around, like I can tell you what changed in my life as far as like I found more friends that were that were on my same path as far as my faith and a journey, and they were single as well, and we hung out a lot more at that time than in my past, and I spent a lot more time with some of my friends in that time period. But as far as like who I was and like I still was the same Lamar, but just more mature, and there was some growth over the 5 years, of course.
I love that. I'm typing something in because I want to ask you some questions before we wrap up. But I would say the same for me. Now, I did mature. So I felt like I was a different person because during the time of our first relationship, there were just some things that were not okay in my life. I had been sweeping them under the rug for many years. And I just, when you have maybe like a habit that's not a healthy habit, sometimes you can kind of self medicate rather than dealing with the issue, or excuse me, maybe a non healthy habit. It could be, you may be dealing with struggling with an addiction. You might be struggling with unhealthy relationship patterns. You could even be struggling something physical, right? Sometimes we like just deflect. We don't want to deal with it. And so we fixate on other things instead of dealing with the hard things. And I think I deflected on some really important work that I needed to do within myself and really hyper focused on being in a relationship. Was I so grateful that I was in a relationship with him? Yes. But I was also very hyper focused and putting way too much of my identity and too much emphasis in that relationship rather than having a healthy relationship with myself. And that includes physical, emotional, and spiritual health. And so there was a lot that I had to work on in those 5 years. I do feel like I was a different person, but like more of a better version, a more healed, a more healthy version of the person I already was. So that when a relationship came around again and I actually wasn't sure that it was going to be Lamar. Lamar had a little bit more confidence that it was going to be me at one time, but I just was like, okay, I need to get healthy no matter who I'm going to be in a relationship with. But it did end up working out. And so, like I said, I had to let go of any distractions that prevented me from doing the necessary work to become just a more refined version of myself. So, that's that part. I guess as we just wrap up on this part, because I really wanted to talk about singleness a lot. We could talk about our marriage and tell everybody about that. But I just feel like one of the strongest points of our relationship, because we had so much time being friends and so much time that we've known each other. And actually, the smallest part of our relationship has been our marriage. We're getting to more years, but we've been friends longer than we've been married.
Yeah, yeah, we known each other longer than we been married. Yeah, for sure.
What would you say to someone who is maybe coming back into being in a relationship? Maybe they had a relationship that wasn't the healthiest and they're working on themselves during this time of singleness, but they desire to be in a relationship. Just kind of going back to maybe they don't need to completely be a different person, but like based on your own story, there were some things that you built into your life. What would your advice be for that person who wants to be in a relationship, but they're just trying to figure out, how do I focus on me during this time?
Yeah, I think it's just that. Focus on you. Like, don't make a relationship a holy grail, or
Mhm.
or feel like I know like people want to be with somebody that's just a characteristic of being a human. Like you want to be loved, you want to be with somebody. But I would say like they focus on you and being the best you can be. And when the right person comes around, you'll be better for them and a better spot personally to have a successful, thriving relationship. But I know a lot of times, like people are just searching, and they may be like maybe getting overly aggressive about a relationship, or just be prayerful about it, and enjoy your singleness. Like there's things that like I enjoy about being married, but there's things I enjoyed about being single. Like
Tell me one.
I can go anywhere I want to. I don't have to get permission or ask someone. You can just do things on the whim.
Okay, I said
You
one,
don't have to
man.
wait for somebody when you're going somewhere. You can eat what restaurant you wanna eat at.
Wow.
So it's a lot more freedom
Mhm.
in that aspect. So I think a lot of people, like, look at what they're maybe feel like they're missing instead of what they have. Like, make the most I think I heard you say this too, like, make the most of your season. Make
Yeah.
the most of what you have. You got some ingredients, you got this, make it the best you can make it. So,
Mhm.
that would be my advice, just to, enjoy where you are, make the most of where you are, and don't be so focused on what you don't have that you, negate what you do currently have.
Yeah, I would agree as well. Just like Lamar found a group of like healthy male friends and male relationships, I found some bomb girlfriends, people that were doing things that I wanted to do. So, one thing that I wanted to do that I didn't actually end up doing until we got married was pursue my master's. So, go back to school. So, during that time, I was just like, I just finished college. Let's just start making money. So I wasn't really exploring other areas, other industries at that time. And I didn't have a lot of dreams that were buzzing around. But I actually got in a group of girls who they were pursuing higher education. They were pursuing, professional development. They were just making smart financial decisions. A couple of my friends bought houses, and I'm like, oh, you can do that? You don't have to wait for someone to do this. I honestly don't know where I got the idea. My parents did not teach me that, but just for some reason in my mind, I was just waiting for this status. Like, even the status of being in relationship. I had a lot to unlearn. But basically, there's so many things that I was able to do and move forward, even in my knowledge of myself. But then also, I got a financial advisor. I started saving. I started budgeting. I got friends who were moving ahead in life. They were a little older than me. They were going back to school. They were purchasing homes. They of course desired to be in a relationship, but they weren't waiting on that to keep making moves in their life. And I really appreciate those girls helped me so much, even when I was sad that we were on a break or I wasn't in a relationship. I looked around and I didn't feel alone because the other people around me were in a very similar spot. And so it's like we were doing life together and our lives were on the same rhythm. So it made those friendships very meaningful. Very, very meaningful. Okay. So a few rapid fire questions before
Oh, you got
you.
a rapid fire. Okay.
Yes. Before we end, is there anything else you would say? Because our single season was such and is really honestly the bedrock of our relationship. Truthfully, do you have any advice to women? That's one thing. Listen, I definitely grew up in a very modest household, and I wasn't really, modesty was just something that, in my version of modesty, is probably different than anyone else's version of modesty. But I remember being somewhere with Lamar. He made a comment, and it wasn't a rude comment. He said, if I was her dad, I would not let her out of the house like that. Or I was on a date one time with a girl, and I got embarrassed, and I just like offered her my jacket. I just appreciated certain things that he would say, just very respectful things about women, and talking to the girls in the midnight basketball program about like respecting themselves and respecting their bodies, because he clearly respects women. What would you say to a woman who feels as if she has to change who she is for to be able to be found by the right person, or in a relationship, or to be more attractive to man?
Well, I mean, if you have to change yourself and you're not being true to yourself for any situation, whether it's a job or a person or anything, then
Mhm.
like you're not being real. Like, and it's
Mhm.
you're putting on a facade, and it's only going, no matter what it is, it's only going to last so long. It's not going to be healthy in any case. At the end of the day, like you got to be, true to yourself. It's nothing wrong with being edified and becoming a better person, but like if you're like really putting on fronts and being manipulative and going to that level, then that's a whole different story. And like you want the person to like you for you at the end of the day. Like you don't want them to like you because they think that you're something that you're not. And
Mhm.
so that's not having a real relationship. That's not genuine. So you definitely want to put yourself in a place to have a genuine relationship and be who you really are, and don't put on fronts or anything like that. I've seen that in men and women side
Sure.
of things. So at the end of the day, like just be yourself, because that's something it's not going to work out if you're not yourself regardless.
That's true. I second that. Just respecting, as a woman, respecting ourselves to know our value, know our worth, and be able to recognize that someone does not, even by the way they speak to us as a woman. I mean, I do clown on Lamar a little bit about that door, but he's told me before, and I hope I get this right, that when I said, "No, you're going to open my, why are you not opening my door?" That he said, "Oh, I got to step up." You might not have said that exactly, but I
No,
had a
I didn't.
standard. There was a standard that
And
I
and
expected.
and she gets something by that, but like I was the type of guy that would open a door. It for that particular day, it just didn't hit my mind.
Sure. Yeah,
You
he
know,
wasn't a bad
I
guy.
just dropped the ball that day, like, and normally I'll open the door for you. I open the door for people that not even in a relationship with. Like, it's just
I'm
I'm that
just
type of person, but it's just that
yeah,
day. But she
it
always
was
she always get me on that one. You didn't open the door
you
on the
didn't,
first day
but that
when you were in
also
the car, and I came to the side, and you didn't notice me because you were
I
like
don't actually talk like
praying and
that.
in the Holy Spirit and didn't notice me because you're so engulfed with the presence of Jesus Christ.
Oh, wow. And I don't even
Kiss the
talk
ground and
like
go through my
that.
door.
Wow. Wow. But that is a huge benefit of having parents, specifically a father
Mhm.
that really set a standard. So I
Yeah.
wasn't I don't want to make it feel as if I'm like speaking down about that situation. I was more so referencing that situation as a standard that had already
Yeah.
been set
And
for
and I don't
me.
I like I'm glad you did that. Like when you like I guess you knocked on I think you knocked on the door and like you
I was
know get
like,
my door and like yeah so that made me like oh yeah this is a woman who is expecting commands from respect so I like that like you know
hey,
I like that so
respect
yeah
me. No, but I wasn't trying to be, at all. I was joking about it. But yes, just for the women, of course, having standards. And that's not just for women, that's men as well. I would even just say one thing that attracted me to Lamar was that he was about his business. He wasn't flaky. I mean, I'm the one that typically runs late, but when I got there eventually to the basketball program, he was out there working. Oh my gosh, he had his checklist, he had his clipboard, he was doing this. He got there early, he got off work, came there, did a lot of the setup so that it was even ready for volunteers, organized the jerseys, got them washed. Like it was very much a functioning program. Were there things that I wish he would have asked for more help, honestly, but even if one person showed up, he would have done the highest level of excellence in his work. I just really appreciated that about him. Everyone that I talked to, because I didn't personally know him, so I asked around about him, and people were like, oh, yeah, he's a nice guy. He's so sweet. He's so respectful. I mean, people just went on and on about it, so much so that I didn't know that so many people had liked him before me. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that you used to like him. My bad. Not my bad. My blessing. But I didn't know that so many people were like that until later. He told me all the people that he either talked to or used to like him. And I was like, oh, wow, I had no idea. And so I was just blissfully unaware as to the gift that I got. So I'm very grateful. But as far as guys as well, I think, guys should have a standard, I would say. Men should have expectations of what they want in a woman and have standards because
yeah
dating is a two-way street.
yeah
Both
yeah
people must know if they're compatible with each other. I don't even we never talked about this, but I would love to know, like, how did you know that we were compatible?
no I think that's funny.
Mhm.
I remember when I was in college and I went out with a girl and she had some shorts and the cheek was kind of hanging out. I was like, I made to go in the house and change. He's like, we're not going
Right.
out in that.
Mm.
You have to put some, some different attire on.
Made
Yeah,
me
yeah.
change before too.
What made you change? What
My
stuff like
pants
that?
were no, my pants were a little see-through. You said, yeah, no.
Okay, you asked me. I think
That
you're right.
was
I
the
think you asked me,
accident. It was accident.
but that was when we were married, though, right? Or was
Mhm.
it? Okay, maybe.
We might have been engaged, maybe. I'm not sure.
Well,
But you had standards
I'm pretty
for
sure I enjoyed that day. See through pants. Hey, but these see through.
okay.
Okay, anyway, I'm
Back
getting off
on
topic.
topic. Flag on the
We're married now.
play.
I get to see it all.
Flag on the play.
Flag
We're
on the play.
talking
Okay,
about
what was the
singleness. We're
question?
trying to help our single people, our
What
single
was your question? I
friends.
forgot the question now. I'm thinking
Men,
about see-through.
stop.
You brought it up. Go ahead.
Men having standards. When you were thinking about someone that you could share life with and be
Yeah.
in a relationship with, you had standards.
Okay.
And one of your standards was not going out with someone who had cheeky,
Well,
cheeky shorts
just
on.
respect. Have some respect for yourself and and
Okay.
how you present yourself. Like,
Okay.
I mean, I just don't. I ain't gonna be comfortable going out with somebody with booty shorts on and the butt hanging out.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
And I think I think in that time that person was young too, so I think it may have helped them. I don't know what the person is today, but it may have helped them, understand like,
Mhm.
okay, maybe I should be wearing stuff because they may have not been in a household where they were,
Taught.
or thought about that,
Right.
or understood that type of stuff. So yeah, I think yeah, having standards is definitely important. I think sometimes women get caught up with a list too much though, because like some women list like he got to be best friends with Jesus, he got to know the Hebrew and all this stuff. Like okay, like take it a little bit too far. So like I think
I wasn't thinking of that
yeah,
when you
I'm
think
just being
about a
I'm
list.
just
I
being
literally would not put that on
I'm
the
being
list.
sarcastic. I think being equally yoked, having the foundational things is important. But when you go to some other stuff, like he got to be a certain field. There's nothing wrong with that stuff. But like
It has to be a
just
certain
don't take
ethnicity.
it too far. Yeah, don't take it too far.
There was and that's okay.
Cause you
Preferences are
have what
great.
you want, then but you gotta be open to what God made. Cause God knows what's best for you. You gotta be open to what He made. Have your list, but present it to God and ask him about it as well.
Yeah, and I also think, another part of the list, that's a whole nother topic I really would love to get into. The list, someone told me, be the spouse that you desire
Mhm.
or be the person that you're waiting for. I don't exactly know how they said it, but basically the idea was you can have all these lists and all the things that you want, but don't expect something of someone else that you're not willing to put in the work for. That's basically what it is. So if you're saying, I'll just be honest, I was on my physical fitness journey back then. Actually, I wasn't working out, but I was like kind of semi still athletic because of high school, because it had just been a couple years since I was out of high school. But like you were working out all the time, and I was like, oh, I should probably start that. So I started that. Then there were other things that I was already doing that fell in alignment with what Lamar had going on. No, I didn't ever learn how to play basketball. I stink at basketball. I honestly can barely dribble, but I have an
That's fine.
appreciation for the
That wasn't on my
game.
list, but yes, you can play
Have an
basketball. That's great.
appreciation for the game. There were just different things that
You're a good cheerleader. You're a really good cheerleader.
I'm encouraging. Woo woo. Go, go. But yeah, so all that to say, like, I wanted someone who had a good relationship with the Lord. I needed to have a good relationship with the Lord. I wanted someone who was living a lifestyle of purity and wasn't in multiple relationships and had certain values and morals regarding sexual things. And that's another topic. And so I needed to have those same standards and morals for myself. And so just so many different things. But the big takeaway is we were on a journey. And just like the topic is beginning again, the podcast is called The Joyfully Free Journey. I feel like this marriage and relationships and healthy relationships, cultivating those and even maximizing the single, like being single and maximizing it. I mean, that's a journey as well. I feel like by the end of the time that I was single, I felt like I was rocking singleness. I literally had a tagline at the top of my journal. I would say rocking my season. So I wanted to rock my season, whatever season I was in. And I was like killing it as a single person. I literally was so sad when I was no longer single. I was so happy to be married, but it was a new season and I was rocking my old season. So it was a hard transition. That's another story. But this is my rapid fire questions for you. I think I know the answers
It's a
to
long lot of
some.
questions.
I'm just going to
Okay.
pick a couple. I asked, our good AI friends that we all know and love. And so coffee or tea?
Tea,
Morning person or night owl?
night owl,
Cats or dogs?
dogs if I have to pick.
Okay. What's your favorite season? Summer, ring, spring, or fall?
Spring,
Summer, spring, winter, or fall?
spring, summer.
That's not a rapid fire, sir. Netflix or
Okay.
YouTube?
YouTube.
Texting or calling?
Depends on the situation, but
Favorite pizza topping?
a pineapple,
Sweet or savory snacks?
sweet,
Introvert or extrovert?
both.
Okay. You should ask me some.
Okay.
I'm on 12.
A lot of questions. Favorite holiday?
Ooh, my birthday.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Just keep going. Rapid
I'm trying
fire.
to answer ones that you hadn't asked me. That's why it's a little bit difficult. So I can't just
11.
go in order. Are you a planner or spontaneous?
Planner more than spontaneous.
What's the one place you want to visit?
Oh, gosh. Australia.
Okay. What's your go-to comfort food?
Ice cream, French fries, or popcorn.
Okay. Do you prefer staying in or going out?
Staying in with friends and family.
Okay.
All right, guys. This was fun. Thank you for
Yes.
joining me.
Thank y'all for joining. Whoever is out there, we thank you for joining. Yeah. Do I get my check now?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's your payment right there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. It has been a wonderful story time of sorts, and I hope that you were encouraged. This is very different than many of the conversations you might have seen so far, but I'm grateful that you're here and follow along with me on this joyfully free journey. It is my prayer that you would find your joy and live authentically free. See you next time. Bye.